What's up, and welcome back to Cleats to Whistle podcast. I am Brad Valdez, and it is finally week one here in Louisville, Kentucky. In the state of Kentucky, it's week one for high school football. I've been pumped up. I've been trying to grind on this podcast for you guys, and just to introduce you guys to the head coaches. But now we're at the stage where these guys come into play. And that's the assistant coaches, man. We got some good ones, but we'll go from left to right. We'll just state your name, and then what do you do for the program?
Sure. I'm Nelson Jackson. I'm our defensive our linebackers coach, and I'm also the head coach if Coach Hatchett decides that he can't be in a game on a Friday night. I don't want to say assistant head coach because it's a lot of pressure to be that.
Yeah,
that's what I am.
I'm Marc Gartner. I coach the wide receivers here, and I'm actually the special teams coordinator here. So if something happens, Hatchett doesn't want to coach or gets tossed, whatever, we're not going to speak that into existence. I'm the offensive coordinator on a Friday night.
Oh, okay. And I asked this question to everybody, man. It's because we all have a past, and we all have those guys, man, that brought us up. Do you guys have do you have a mentor that you'd want to shout out?
Sure. So I started coaching in 1993. So I was a long time ago. So Brian Shoemake gave me my first opportunity to coach, and he ended up being an assistant superintendent here in the county. And I also worked with Greg Wilson. And when I got to Fairdale, after I became a head football coach at Western, I ended up going to Fairdale. But when I first started, I had a lot of old guys that taught me, Tommy Lynch and Melvin Knight and Kenny Mingus at Western High School, and then Mike Gossett and Dave Myers when I was at Fairdale. They really, really helped me out and taught me how to be a better football coach.
Okay. And what about yourself?
So I started in 2021. My mentor was Coach Gossett, which was a former head coach of mine. Now I'm mentoring Coach Hatchett. Coach Jackson here has actually been a big mentor for me. This is year 3 for me. I've actually played football here. So I got to come back and give back to the future players and make a difference in their life.
Yeah, man. With you being a young man, you just got in the game, man. How is the transition going for you? You know what I mean? Because you're used to messing around and not understand, but now you fully understand the grind that these guys go through.
Yeah, so it's different. I've struggled with, I'm not a player no more. I got to teach them how to do it. So I've been talking with him recently. How do I transition? He was like, they don't know nothing. So you have to make sure you tell them to run a corner route. You have to show them or they're not going to do it.
Exactly. So
I got to learn, instead of they knowing it as a player or whatever, I have to teach them physically how to do it.
Yep. And with you being the old dog, man, you know what I mean? Just working with the younger guys, you know what I mean? Does that give you some juice to, just come back? You know what I mean?
Right. So one of the things is like working with the young guys, and there's 2 young guys that are like under 25, and then there's another coach that's new. And what that allows me to do is like I've pretty much seen it all, right?
Right.
So for me, it's like not being overly excited and being able to get in the coach's office and say, this is what I saw today. Maybe this is what we can do different, and really guide them into how to be a better coach and not – so because a lot of times when you're a young coach, we've had this conversation before. It's like, don't take things personal. Like, kids don't come out to try to, make me mad today. I don't want to talk about myself in the third person. Like, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to make him angry. Like, kids don't do that, right?
Right.
So if I can find a way to teach them without losing my mind on them, then that makes them a better player and hopefully makes me a better coach.
Yeah, and that's great. You know what I mean? Because I've worked on so many staffs from Michigan down here now, and Tori, your cousin just gave me my first shot down here, and this is the first time that I got into the high school football. Usually I was coaching middle school, and then I'd teach, I'd coach freshmen, you know what I mean, and scout, you know what I mean? I'd be the scout guy, filming everything. But that's good that you're actually, taking that hand and reaching out and just giving back, man.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I've had an opportunity. I've worked with 3 Hall of Fame football coaches, right? Mike Gossett, Lakuta Farmer, and Ty Scroggins, right? And I've always been one of their top assistants on their staff. So it's always been a good give and take and a good we're doing this as a collective, right? Nobody runs the show. And I learned that from all 3 of them. So if I can give that opportunity so we can all have this conversation together, then we make our kids better. And it's really just about them anyway.
Right, exactly. And with you playing, what position did you play?
I was actually Coach Hatchett's quarterback in 2018. So I graduated in 2018, so 2017 football season.
Oh, okay. And did you have a number you wore, and did it have any meaning?
So I wore number 5. It didn't have no meaning to me when I showed up here. Coach Gossett was like, "You're number 5." I was like, "Okay, whatever." Later on, it ended up having a meaning to me. When I dug deep into it, my grandfather's birthday was July 5th, and he meant a lot to me. And my sister's favorite number was number 5. So I was just like, you know what? If I got to wear it, I'm going to embrace it with something.
Hey,
so.
just meant, you know what I mean? It had hidden meaning. You don't even know, man.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing. And did you grow up here in Louisville?
I grew up here. I went to Western High School, and I played for Steve Reed, and he was our head coach. And then Bill Jarbo was our defensive coordinator, who ended up being the head coach at Iroquois in the late '80s as well.
Oh, okay.
So I played quarterback at Western as well.
Well, so did you play like Little League and all that?
Sure, we're old Firefighters League on Dixie Highway.
Firefighters. I hear all the old coaches, all the old heads, man.
We all played there, and we all were better than everybody else in the city, and it's what we did. But I didn't play quarterback until I got into like the 8th grade, and it was one of those things where I was the only person who knew the play, so I had to play there, and somehow it stuck. But DB, wide receiver at heart.
There you go. Yeah. And did you play Little League?
Yeah. So I grew up in Bullitt County. So I played football out there at the Youth League football organization. Okay. I came here my junior year of high school. Blessing in disguise. My family moved out here, so I came here.
Oh, okay. So you're in Bullitt County, boy.
Yeah. So I'm Bullitt County, Okolona kid, if you really want to call it, but I grew up in Bullitt County.
Okay. And what initially got you into coaching?
Well, I was just telling that story. So I was at student teaching in Mississippi. I went to Mississippi State, and I was student teaching, and my teacher asked me if I told her I wanted to coach baseball and football, and she knew the baseball coach, and like an hour later, I was the JV coach when I was 21. And then I got my job at Western. I went back to my high school, and Brian Shoemate hired me to coach his freshmen, and then it was I wanted to be just like everybody. I wanted to be better than everybody. I wanted to learn, so I went to clinics and I learned and I asked questions, and that's what happened.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I wanted to teach kids all the time.
Just didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to teach kids, and I wanted to make sure that the kids had a place to come and be off the streets. And in the 80s at Western and Chavley and PRP, like it was hard for kids. So we wanted to give them a safe place to go, a safe place to bang heads. And I saw 4 of them Sunday at the scrimmages, and they were, jobs, cars, kids, families, and that's what it's all about anyway.
Yeah, I seen you on Twitter. You took a picture with your running back.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then with you being young, man, it just I hate saying you're young.
Right,
you know
right.
what I mean? But what wanted you to do this? Okay,
so I played 1 year at Campbellsville University, and I woke up for 6 a.m. workouts, and I was like, man, I'm not a ball player no more. I don't have nothing to give anymore. So then I started thinking. I'm still in school, by the way. I'm thinking. I'm like, what's gonna make me happy? What am I gonna wake up to go do every day? And Coach Gossett, Coach Hatchett, and they changed my life when I got here. And I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to make a difference. How do I make a difference? Coach football. Give a kid a chance. A lot of kids around here don't have that father figure. I ain't asking to be somebody's father. But if for 2 hours I change their life and they're going to remember it, just like Coach Jackson seeing these players over the weekend or whatever, that relationship sticks with you till you die. And you change their life, and they're going to remember it for the rest of their life.
Right, because you're going to be coached for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, I'm saying, though, you know what I mean? When these kids, you get 21, they're going to be, hey, coach. You know what I mean? And that's a great feeling, because when I go back home, you know what I mean? That's all everybody calls me. What's up, coach? What's up? You know what I mean? It's just a great feeling. I don't have kids, so you know what I mean? When I'm coaching, man, these kids, I just take them in. You know what I mean? Because some of them you might need to give them a ride home.
Right.
You know what I mean? Give them something to eat, just in case. You never know what happened. You know what I mean? Every situation is different. Where I've been down here in Louisville, you know what I mean? Iroquois, Western,
right.
Seneca. It's just you got to embrace them kids a little bit tighter.
Right. You take them in. You love on them. You tell them when they're right, you tell them when they're wrong, and you tell them that loving them ain't being right all the time. And for a lot of them, it's hard for them to hear that.
Yeah.
But the best part is that later on in life, they see that. I'm coaching 3 kids on this team that I coach their dads. That's what it's about.
So, like, something when I first became on the staff when I was 21, he said something, who's going to coach my kids? You got to see it as who it's easy to go coach at these bigger schools or whatever, but who's going to coach these smaller schools that need it more than the bigger schools?
Exactly. And with you guys, you know what I mean, young guys, old guys, you know what I mean, how do you feel, listen, both of you guys, how do you guys feel about this staff?
For me, I like it because they're a lot older. Not much older, but they are older. And for my future, going based off, I'm going to take a lot from whether if it's Coach Jackson or Coach Hatchett, Coach Cosby. They're all giving me a bunch of knowledge that I never had before. So I'm the second youngest on the coaching staff, but we are very diverse. So just because I'm younger, they don't look at me as, oh, you're a young punk. We're going to listen to your input. And just like I'm going to listen to Coach Jackson's advice if he tells me, hey, you might want to do something different or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this staff is it's one of my favorite staffs I've ever been on. We had a running joke. It's like I've picked a fight and an argument with every staff I've been on except for this one, right? because I used to be that guy. But what ends up happening is that we all get along and we all understand that like all of us are in different places in our life, right? Some of us are having some, they've had Cosby and Marc have had kids in the last year. I've had a grandson, my first grandson in the last year. Like, we're all in different places in our lives. But when we get to come out here, we get to share that. Our families are a part of it. And that's the best part about it is that we know everybody's kids. We know everybody's partners. It's a family in the coach's office, which spills out here, right? And if the kids see how we treat each other and how we get along, then it works out fine. And then that's the best part about this staff is how well we get along together.
Yeah, and this is what it's about, guys, right here. It's about bringing these guys on so you guys hear their story. Like I say at the end of every podcast, everybody has a story, and I'm just here for them to tell it. You know what I mean? And that's what it is you know what I mean? You're young. Your story's just being written, man. He's probably, got 4 or 5 more chapters left, but he's still writing it, man. And it's because he's so fiery. You know what I mean? It's just the love of the game. And that's what brings you out. That's what brings him out. Right. And you guys just bond over that, man. And now let's talk about Coach Hatchett real quick.
Sure.
I had the honor of interviewing him twice already, man. He's just a good dude. How is your guys' relationship, man?
Well, Justin and I get along really well, so he calls me his Yoda, and it used to be because we
right.
thought it was a short joke, right? But because a parent said it was because you're short, right? It was like, no, it's because like I'm Yoda, right? And so what he does with me is that he asks me for my feedback a lot of times when maybe he's kind of pondering on some things, right? Not necessarily stuck. Justin is like a wizard. He's like Rain Man when it comes to like offenses and what he does and how the notes and all of those things. And a lot of times for me, it is okay. Let's pump our brakes a little bit and let's figure some things out, right? I'm a big picture guy, so I let them a lot of times deal with all the detail stuff because Coach Hatchett is always 4 plays ahead of everybody else. He's 4 plays ahead, and he's ready to go, and he's already. And I'm former defensive coordinator. I'm a defensive guy, right. and so we have those conversations, and it's really good. So Hatch and I get along really well, and I'm grateful. He's the only reason why I'm still coaching high school football because I was going to retire when Coach Gossett left, and then he's the only reason why I stayed.
Okay. And what about yourself?
So my relationship's a little bit different from a player to coach and then coming in as a colleague. It's to the point where he can sit there and be like, all right, I'm going to go down here and work on something. I trust you enough to go down there, and just the ability that even though I still don't know everything, he trusts me enough to go out there, and then I'm going to put the kids in the best place. Ask my opinion on offense like today before, school's not in right now, so we were both down here with us being in the building. We were down here just kind of talking. He goes, what pass plays you want to run today? So getting me that input, and then with this being my year 3, he goes, time for you to be a coordinator. So he gave me a special teams coordinator to build my resume for if I want to be a head coach in the future. He's allowing me to build my resume to where I can put myself in the best position to get a head coaching job in the future.
Yeah, there we go. Everybody needs that coordinator spot on their resume. That's a plus. So he's watching out for you, and he's just a quality dude because I believe, you know what I mean. He's the real deal. And now we're gonna get into like you as like how do you handle the stress of a season? We all, you know what I mean, as coaches, we're gonna get frustrated. We're gonna get mad. How do you deal with the stress? Even, you know what I mean. You guys could be 1-10 or 1-9, 1-10 going into
Sure.
playoffs. How do you just blow off that steam, man, and just forget about it?
Marc's laughing because they know like if they want something to do, I can find something for them to do. So for me, it is first of all, like I'm a big reader, so I'm always reading something. I have a garden in my backyard. Marc's got a garden. I'm sure he's going to talk about that. And I do hot yoga. So I try to make sure that all the things when I leave here, football's gone. Like, I don't take football home with me. So sometimes he'll text me and he's like, "What do you think about this?" I was like, "Oh, we'll talk about it tomorrow." That's and that took me a long time to figure that out, right?
Yeah.
I'm not taking that home with me. When I go home, home is for me. Home is for my family. Home is for whatever I want to do that is not at Southern High School or Fairdale or Western or Doss or wherever I've been before. Because if I take it home with me, then I'm not taking care of myself, and I'm not paying attention to people that are my family and my loved ones at home.
Yep, that's a great answer. Great answer.
So I'm still learning, right? There's been a couple times this year already I've lost sleep of how to get certain kids on the field or whatever. But here the past couple weeks, I've actually done good. I haven't really thought about football. So I've tried to designate Saturday is a day where I spend with my girlfriend and my baby, all that stuff. At the end of the night, I'll start breaking down my film from Friday, or if I hadn't done it Friday.
Right.
Sunday is when I'll start watching the opponent do all that stuff. So I like to cut grass. It gets annoying after a while, especially when I gotta get off the mower to weed eat. This was my first year getting to do a garden. So that's actually pretty calming, going out there and just doing something different. And I'm trying to start to get into golf whenever I get into the chance. I'm not good at it, but I can just get out there, whether it's me and a buddy, just hanging out, just not even thinking about what's outside or anything. Like, I'm just me for a little bit.
Thinking about that one shot.
Yeah, that's going to go into the woods, but it's all right.
Okay, and now we're going to get into your position group. Do you see any like leaders, stepping up?
Right. So with our kids, I coach our linebackers. So I coach the guys that call the defense. So Javon White, our middle linebacker, is the guy that runs the defense. He took over for Dominique Brackney, who started for us for 3 years before that. Last year was his first year starting at Mike linebacker, and he was really trying to we had moved him around from his freshman year at DB to defensive end his sophomore year. So last year it was like, buddy, I'm sorry, you got to go to Mike linebacker. We lost 25 seniors.
Right.
So he comes in this year, and he just knows everything. We didn't change the defense, so he just knows where to move people. He knows what coverages we're supposed to be in and what place we're supposed to be. And at Mike linebacker, that's what I want. So he's the one key that I know that we need on defense, and who stepped up and taken that responsibility.
There you go. That's a great. Yeah, your Mike's got to be that.
Hey, yeah.
You know what I mean? He's got to be that. And what about yourself?
So I'm the receiver coach here. A lot of my wide receivers are actually seniors or played last year. So Tay, he's really stepped up to where if I need the younger guys to be taught and I can work on the older guys that still need to be learning a little bit, I'm like, Tay, go over and help them out. He'll go over there and help them out, and then that's the biggest thing there is. I mean, a couple years ago, we lost to Tice Hall, who's at Union College right now. He was a 4-year starter, actually. He had a 5th year. And he was a leader, so Tay had to take that role, and this is actually his first year playing wide receiver, but he's taken that role upon himself that I'm the older dog. I got to help coach. I got to be another coach on the field to help the future.
There you go. And this is just a couple more questions.
Sure.
With you guys, with your upcoming schedule, you know what I mean? You guys got a beast of a schedule.
Sure.
You know what I mean? How do you feel about your next couple weeks? I know you guys, they're actually at Doss this week for week 1. And then what is your week 2?
I don't ever know after week 1.
Week 2 is at Valley, and then week 3 is at Atherton. Then we go into bye week, go to Butler, and then after that, I'm drawing a blank right now.
Okay, and then so, you know what I mean, going forward, you guys got all your install basically in. You guys are going to tweak some stuff here and there, obviously. How do you feel about, rolling into week 1?
Well, I was worried until I was watching the 2 scrimmages I watched Sunday. So at first, and I'm always kind of worried going into first week, but after a while, after you've taught and put everything in, let's go play. Because you don't ever know until you see, like, Friday nights and the lights come on. It doesn't matter if it's scrimmage, any of that stuff, right? When the lights come on and you see how kids perform underneath the lights is what matters. So, and then our job is done, right? I mean, that's their job now. There's not a whole lot of yelling and screaming and talking to do. It is, it's see ball, get ball on our side of the ball. And that's really what I think about all the time. It's like, Y'all, it's time.
There we go.
Yeah, like he said, it's time. You do the preparation Monday through Thursday. Friday, you don't want to yell at them because then they're going to fold down and not perform at the performance that they can give. So you just got to prep them Monday through Thursday. Friday, let it be. And then Monday, you get to really teach them, hey, this is what you did wrong. This is what I need you to do next time.
Okay, and that was my next question. Going, you know what I mean, when you break down film, you know, how do you, like, not discipline your kid, but coach him up? Are you like a show me guy? Like, listen, I'm going to tell you, you know, I was actually at practice, so I know coach. You know what I mean? You're going to see him, and you're going to, okay, you got to take this on the wrong arm. You know what I mean? Or you can't take them on full body. You got to attack half the body. You know what I mean? Is that, how do you do it? Are you a vocal, or are you like, show me? That's basically what I'm trying to ask.
Okay.
We had this conversation before practice today, right? Because my whole thing is, it's like, it's real easy to show a kid something and then ask them if they did it. If they get it and they're like, yeah, I get it, and then they go and do the same thing they did before because we didn't ask them to show us, right? So you have to teach kids what to do. Then you have to okay, show me before I put you back in. So that is the key, I think, to what we ask kids to do anymore, is that sometimes we assume that they know when we show them something that they're going to mimic what we did. But until they prove to me that they can do it, we're not going to go any further than that. So
Okay.
But I'm going to show them first.
Okay.
All right. So I'm learning, right? So I'm still learning, as a player, they should know it, right? So now I'm to the point where I'll show you how to do it. I'm going to let you run it, get repetition. Then I'm going to throw a defender at your face to see what you do. So Coach Hatchett actually does a very good job of showing everybody what to do. But you just so a lot of our kids got to do, like, pen to paper. They have to do it, like repetition to where it's just bashed into their head.
There you go. And I appreciate you guys for coming on. Thank you for spending, 20 minutes with me. But yeah, this is Cleats to Whistle podcast. And like I always say, everyone has a story. I'm here for them to tell it. Cleats to Whistle podcast.